In pop music, the first single of an album sets the tone, but every once in a while, the second single enters the chat, often stealing the spotlight and sometimes even defining the album. In this video, we'll look at 8-second singles bigger than the lead single. Toxic by Britney Spears. When Britney Spears released In The Zone in 2003, she was already a global phenomenon. The lead single, Me Against the Music featuring Madonna, was expected to be huge. It was high energy, a little edgy, and paired Britney with her idol. While it was decently successful, hitting number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100, the song did not have the massive impact that everyone expected. Enter Toxic, the second single that changed the entire trajectory of the album. Released in January 2004, Toxic came with an addictive sample from Bollywood, slick production, and a stunning music video that became instantly iconic. Britney in a glittering bodysuit is an image that is hard to forget. Toxic hit number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, a step up from its predecessor, and won Britney her first Grammy for Best Dance Recording. Toxic not only outshined Me Against the Music, but also became one of Britney's most known singles, solidifying her as a pop powerhouse. Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus's Bangers era was all about reinvention, with We Can't Stop as the lead single. Miley tried to announce herself as an edgier, more daring artist, shedding her Disney image. The song was a success, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and showcasing Miley's new rebellious style. But it left some fans unconvinced and wondering if her transformation was for real. Then came Wrecking Ball, the emotional ballad that swung Miley straight into pop history. Dropping in August 2013, it topped the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Miley's first #1 hit. The raw vulnerability of the song and the unforgettable music video, with Miley on an actual wrecking ball, dominated the conversation for months. While We Can't Stop introduced bangers, Wrecking Ball defined it, turning the album into a blockbuster success and marking Miley's move from a Disney star to a bona fide pop star. Drunken Love by Beyonce featuring Jay-Z. When Beyonce surprise dropped her self-titled album in December 2013, it took the music world by storm. The lead single EXO was a dreamy, lovely anthem, filled with warm vocals and heartfelt content. It was well received and reached number 45 on the Billboard Hot 100, but something about it didn't quite connect with Beyonce's fans. But the fire came in the form of Drunken Love, the second single, featuring her husband Jay-Z. The sensual, heavy-hitting track became an instant classic, capturing an intimate, unfiltered look at their sex life. Drunken Love hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, overshadowing EXO and quickly cementing itself as one of her career-defining hits. It sparked a wave of internet memes, from Beyonce's surfboard lyrics to countless covers and tributes. With Drunken Love, Beyonce proved she could take risks, turn up intensity, and make it look effortless. We Belong Together by Mariah Carey. By 2005, Mariah Carey was on a comeback mission. Her previous album hadn't performed well, so when The Emancipation of Mimi was set to drop, all eyes were on her. It's Like That was the lead single, and did well, peaking at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was fun, catchy, and signaled that Mariah was back, but the song didn't quite match the star power everyone knew Mariah was capable of. Then she released We Belong Together, and everything changed. The song became an instant hit, sitting at number 1 of the Billboard Hot 100 for an amazing 14 weeks, and ending the 2000s as the biggest song of the decade. It was an emotional powerhouse of a ballad that showcased Mariah's vocals like no other, reaching a level of commercial and critical success that blew It's Like That out of the water. Not only did We Belong Together become Mariah's signature song, but it also helped cement The Emancipation of Mimi as one of the most celebrated albums of the decade, marking one of the greatest comebacks in pop history. Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake. In 2002, Justin Timberlake was stepping into uncharted waters with his solo career debut album Justified. After years of boy band superstardom with NSYNC, JT needed to prove that he could stand alone, and his first single, Like I Love You, was carefully crafted for that purpose, featuring production from the Neptunes and a verse from the Clips. It performed moderately well, peaking at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. But while the song established Justin as a solo act, it didn't quite yet signal the pop icon he would become. Then came the second single, Cry Me a River, and everything changed. Produced by Timbaland, the song oozed a sense of raw emotion and vulnerability that was lacking in the safer, upbeat vibes of Like I Love You. Widely believed to be about his highly publicized breakup with Britney Spears, Cry Me a River didn't just attract attention, it made him the center of pop culture's biggest drama at the time. The song climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was accompanied by an iconic music video that further fueled speculation about the Britney connection. By combining heartbreak, drama, and a killer beat, Cry Me a River did what Like I Love You couldn't, which ultimately helped Justified go multi-platinum and solidified JT's status as a solo artist who could carry an album on his own, setting him on a path to superstardom. Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. When The Weeknd dropped Heartless in late 2019 as the lead single from After Hours, it was a huge moment for his fans, eagerly awaiting his new era. The song, produced by Metro Boomin, saw him experimenting with dark trap influences, which fit his edgy, mysterious persona. Heartless didn't flop by any means, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, but while the track was a hit, it did not capture the universal appeal or undeniable magic that would come with the second single. Blinding Lights, released in November 2019, was an entirely different beast, with its 80s synth-pop vibe, catchy hook, and a sense of nostalgia that was almost irresistible. The song quickly took on a life of its own. Not only did it become the most streamed song ever, but it also broke records on the Billboard Hot 100, where it spent a staggering 90 weeks on the chart, an achievement no one else has accomplished. It reached audiences far beyond The Weeknd's core fanbase, appealing to listeners of all ages. The song eventually became the After Hour era's defining track, elevating The Weeknd as a mainstream pop star in a way no one had expected. The massive success of Blinding Lights serves as a textbook case of a second single completely overshadowing the lead and setting a new standard for what a pop hit could be. Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. In 1982, Michael Jackson was ready to launch his most ambitious project yet, Thriller, an album that would go on to become the best-selling album of all time. The record's first single, however, was The Girl Is Mine, a duet with Paul McCartney. This collaboration seemed like a surefire hit. It combined two of the biggest music icons of the time. It achieved moderate chart success, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then came the second single, Billie Jean, a song that would go on to redefine pop music and become one of the most iconic singles ever. With its unforgettable bass line and hypnotic groove, Billie Jean was unlike anything else on the radio. Audiences were hooked, and it didn't take long for the song to shoot to number 1 of the Billboard Hot 100, where it stayed for 7 weeks. What set Billie Jean apart wasn't just the music, it was also his performance. When he performed the song on Motown 25, the world was introduced to the moonwalk, a moment that would become one of the most legendary in music history. The single turned MJ from a pop star into a cultural icon and overshadowed Thriller's lead single entirely. The Girl Is Mine was just an opening act, but Billie Jean was the main event, and it was followed by a string of hit singles that made Thriller the greatest album ever. Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Billie's new Hit Me Hard and Soft era is all about freedom. With Lunch as its lead single, she started off the era with a flirty, dirty banger that was a new direction for her. The song was a success, peaking at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Even though it was a good song, it didn't define the album or become a chart-topping hit, as she moved on from it quick. After the album's release, Birds of a Feather started to connect with the audience and was released as a second single on July 2, 2024. It is a gorgeous song that explores themes of desire for a deep connection. The song grew in popularity and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. The raw vulnerability of the song resonated with her audience, and it became a streaming hit, now sitting on 1.3 billion streams on Spotify. While Lunch opened the Hit Me Hard and Soft era, Birds of a Feather defined it, becoming the biggest song from a great album. Which second singles that became bigger than the lead single did I miss? Tell me in the comments below, and I will do a part 2.